Chris Williamson started his podcast, Modern Wisdom, in an office in northern UK with audio quality so bad that people said it sounded like he was recording in a cave. His revenue was £25. That was 2018. By 2025, Modern Wisdom has almost 4 million subscribers on YouTube alone, with over 1 billion downloads, more subscribers in a single month than he had in the entire 3 years combined. But here's the thing nobody talks about. His subscriber graph was completely flat for 2 years. Straight line, zero growth. He published hundreds of episodes whilst watching the metrics not move at all. And something shifted. Everything changed, and it wasn't luck. It was a system, a specific blueprint, a replicable formula that you can use to grow your podcast yourself. So today I'm going to break down exactly how Chris Williamson did it, and more importantly, how you can, using the exact same tactics he did, to grow your channel starting today. If you're new here, I'm Jacob J. Watson-Howland. I'm an award-winning BBC featured photographer and Europe's fastest growing under 21 podcaster who's had guests like SpaceX co-founder Jim Cantrell and Evan Carmichael with over 4.4 million subscribers come onto my show, recording on my laptop from my bedroom. Let's get right into how Chris Williamson blew up his channel so you can do the same. So why his first 2 years looked like failure, but they weren't. Everyone sees the exponential curve and thinks overnight success. They don't see the flat line that preceded it. Chris recorded his first episodes in a Voodoo Events office. That's the gym where he and his friends worked out. The audio was terrible. Episode 1 got, barely any views. Episode 2 was the same. Episode 3 through to episode a couple hundred, almost identical numbers every single episode. Here's the thing about podcasting, right? 99% of podcasters don't make it past episode 1. Out of the 1% that do make it past episode 1, 99% of those don't make it past episode 20. That's the industry stat. 99% of creators quit before they even know if the idea works. Then, of the few percent that survive 3 episodes, then of the few that survive 1 episode, most quit by episode 20. So by the time Chris hit episode 20, he was already in the top 1%. By episode 100, he was essentially alone. But the graph still looks flat. Most creators, and I genuinely mean most creators, quit here. They think, this isn't working, the algorithm doesn't like me, I should switch topics or start over. But Chris didn't. He published 3 episodes a week, every single week, for 2 years, while the metrics told him nothing was happening. This is not inspirational porn. This is not, you just have to believe in yourself. That's the actual technical reason his growth exploded later. It's mathematical. Think about it. If you're posting 1 episode per week, you're giving the algorithm 52 chances per year to recommend your content, right? Chris was giving it 156 chances per year. And that's not including the daily 10-minute clips he makes based off his episodes as well. That's at base 3 times more opportunity to find an audience versus if you posted 1 episode a week. 3 times as many hours of content being recommended to people every single week. That scales, that compound. Most people and creators see consistency as this vague and spiritual thing. Just be consistent and good things will happen. No, consistency is a mathematical advantage. It's the surface area for the algorithm to work with. But what is the deeper principle? Most people quit because the work doesn't feel rewarding to them. Your brain is for immediate feedback. No views, no comments, no algorithm boost. Your brain says, stop, this is not working. That's not weakness. That is literally neuroscience. That's how humans are built. But Chris's competitive advantage wasn't motivation. It was structure. He had a publishing system so reliable that it didn't require motivation anymore. He showed up Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, every single week, whether he felt like it or not, whether the metrics rewarded him or not. That's the first principle. Consistency is a mathematical advantage, not a motivational concept. His next blueprint and formula is the club promoter playbook. How he learned psychology from nightclubs before he even started his podcast. This again is similar to Rogan being a stand-up comic for decades before he was a podcaster. The experiences and the lessons transferred to podcasting. Let me explain. Chris wasn't always a podcaster. For a decade and a half, he was a club promoter in the UK, and not a small-time promoter. He hired over 1 million people into nightclubs over a decade and a half. Most people hear club promoter and think it's irrelevant to podcasting. It's actually the complete opposite. Let me explain. It's everything. Here's what you learn. People don't want entry to the club. They want access to what's inside the club, the vibe, the people, the status, the feeling that something exclusive is happening in there, not the club itself. He basically spent 14 years studying how to create that feeling, how to generate hype, how to make people feel like they missed something if they hadn't shown up to this club, to this event, to this vibe. Then when he started Modern Wisdom, he asked in an interview, how do you make sure you don't bring that same club promotion energy into your podcast, that artificial hype? And he said something really honest. He said something along the lines of, I can transmute that energy into the podcast, make people need me for artificial reasons, but instead I create real value they can't get elsewhere. That sentence is the entire philosophy. He didn't abandon the club promotion skills, he redirected them and became the vibe architect of his show. Hello? It's locked. Not right now. I'm not actually that hungry. The club promoter playbook in podcasting looks like this. First, hype generation. In a club, you create hype through social exclusivity, scarcity, limited tables, VIP sections, guest lists. This feeling of, if I don't get there, I'll miss out. FOMO, right? In podcasting, he does this through guest selection. You're not going to release an episode with an unknown guest today and then another unknown guest the next week. You're building momentum. You're saying, next week, I'm going to get David Goggins. The week after, Andrew Huberman. You're creating a calendar of events that make people want to stay subscribed and listening. Because if you unsubscribe, you might miss the future Joe Rogan episode or the future Jordan Peterson episode. So if you're able to slowly increase the quality of your guests every single week, that builds trust with your audience and keeps them excited, hoping someone else is going to come on that's just as big as the week before and therefore stay on your channel. Second is social proof. In a club, the coolest people are already there, so more cool people want to come, right? It becomes self-reinforcing. With Modern Wisdom, the credible guest is already there on the show now. David Goggins appeared. That signals quality. So how can smaller creators start pitching to be on the show, thinking, if Goggins did it, maybe I can too? So now smaller creators are now trying to pitch to come onto the show because of the likes of these big name guests that they want to be rubbing shoulders with on the podcast. But also bigger creators think, wait, this podcast is bigger than I realized. If Goggins is on it, then maybe I should be on it too. This network effect compounds. Third is FOMO as a marketing tool. Nightclubs use FOMO. The best parties happen on Friday nights. You can either be there or not. The decision is binary and time bound. Modern Wisdom does this through clip strategy. 3-part structure release is their method. First, a teaser clip that drops before the episode, then another teaser, and then the full episode. Each one ends with a call to action telling them that the full episode will be available soon and to subscribe if you don't want to miss it. And what you're doing is creating artificial scarcity around the content that exists permanently on the internet. That's the club promoter move. By doing teasers beforehand, it keeps people hooked in because if they like the teaser, they're sure as hell going to like the full episode. Fourth is community as the product. In nightclubs, the community is actually the product you're selling. The drinks are secondary. The music is secondary. The feeling of belonging is primary. Modern Wisdom audience feel like they're part of something. Early supporters feel the propriety. They say, I found this show early. There's a tribal membership involved. That's a community psychology from 14 years of running venues. So the real insight is Chris didn't bring the club promotion strategy and energy in to his podcast in a sleazy way. He brought the psychology of human belonging, scarcity, and the network effect. Those are universal principles that you have to use. And here's why this matters for you. If you understand this layer, it's not just about making content. You're designing an experience, a vibe. You're creating a feeling of being part of an exclusive event.